When Daniel Brewster went online to order his custom license plate, he thought it would be a simple and fun process. For years, he had driven a plain gray sedan that blended into every parking lot like a chameleon hiding from attention. He wanted something that reflected his personality, something clever, something witty, something that would make people chuckle as they drove behind him. After thinking for a few days, he came up with the perfect phrase, ILOVETAXES. Daniel loved tacos more than any other food. Hardshell, softshell, beef, chicken, fished, did not matter. His friends teased him for always suggesting taco restaurants whenever they went out to eat. Even his coworkers knew that every Tuesday Daniel could be found at the corner Mexican restaurant with a plate piled high. It was a running joke in his life, so why not immortalize it on his license plate? Typed it into the online form. ILOVETAXES. He checked it twice, maybe 3 times. Everything looked correct. He submitted the request, paid the fee, and waited the required 6 weeks for the plate to arrive. He even imagined how people at red lights might roll down their windows and shout, "Hey, me too," or "Where's the nearest taco place?" The plate was going to be his small mobile billboard of happiness. Finally, the day came. A plain brown envelope arrived from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Daniel tore it open with anticipation. The shiny new license plate slid out, catching the light. But instead of the phrase he expected, his eyes fell upon something utterly baffling. ILOVETAXES. Daniel froze. He blinked. Surely he had misread it. But no, the letters were clear. Instead of professing his love for tacos, the plate announced to the world that he was head over heels for taxes. He groaned so loudly that his upstairs neighbor stomped on the floor, thinking he was yelling at the television. He turned the plate over, hoping maybe there was a second one in the envelope that had the correct phrase. But there was only the one. He looked back at the confirmation receipt he had printed weeks earlier. It definitely said ILOVETAXES. Somewhere between his keyboard and the DMV printing machine. Cosmic typo had transformed his tribute to tacos into an ode to income tax. Daniel considered sending it back immediately, but curiosity got the better of him. What would happen if he actually put this on his car? He decided to try it, just for one day. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. At his first stoplight, a man in the next lane lowered his window and shouted, "You work for the IRS or something?" Daniel tried to explain, but the light turned green and the man sped away. Later in the grocery store parking lot, he returned to find someone had left a sticky note on his windshield that read, "Seriously, nobody loves taxes. Seek help." By the end of the day, Daniel had been honked at, laughed at, and photographed at least 3 times. His mistake of a license plate was attracting more attention than he ever expected. At first he was embarrassed, but slowly he began to notice something else. People were smiling, they were amused. Even if they were mocking him, they were laughing. His car was suddenly the funniest vehicle on the road. Word spread quickly. A local comedian posted a picture of the plate on social media with the caption, "Finally found the one person keeping the IRS in business."
Oh, the post went viral.
Within days, Daniel's car was famous. Neighbors stopped him to ask if he really loved taxes. Strangers asked to take selfies with the plate. Even the taco restaurant owner teased him by saying, "Next time, I'm changing the Tuesday special to tax tacos in your honor." Daniel's friends thought it was the funniest twist of fate. His coworker Melanie printed him a t-shirt that read, "Ask me about taxes." His boss jokingly asked if he could help with deductions. Despite his protests, Daniel was slowly becoming a reluctant spokesperson for the joys of taxation. At first, he tried to correct everyone. He explained again and again that it was supposed to say tacos, not taxes. But the more he explained, the more people laughed. After a while, he gave up correcting them. Instead, he leaned into the joke. If people wanted to believe he adored taxes, why stop them? So eventually, he began using the situation to his advantage. When his workplace held a charity fundraiser, Daniel volunteered to auction off tax advice from the man who loves taxes. The session was entirely tongue-in-cheek, but it drew a huge crowd and raised hundreds of dollars for charity. Soon, he was invited to local events as a novelty guest. The DMV even called him one day. They admitted the error and offered to print him the correct plate free of charge. To Daniel's surprise, he refused. By then, ILOVETAXES had become a part of his identity. His once boring sedan was now a rolling joke, and he was in on it. He still loved tacos with all his heart, but the world knew him as the guy who loved taxis, and he could live with that. 1 year later, Daniel attended the town's annual parade. To his utter shock, the organizers had given him a spot near the front. A banner on his car read, "ILOVETAXES, the plate that united our town in laughter." As he drove slowly down the main street, people cheered, laughed, and waved. Children held up little toy license plates with the same phrase. The taco restaurant even had a float decorated with giant taco shells and a giant IRS logo just for the joke. Daniel realized something that day. Sometimes mistakes can lead to the best stories. He had wanted a plate that showed his love for tacos, but the accidental one gave him something better. A way to spread laughter everywhere he went. And in its own strange way, maybe he did love taxes at least. He loved the tax-themed misprint that had changed his life.